Hello and welcome to the Chef and Guests Kitchen. My name is Gangia. Today we are going in the sweet direction and I'm joined by the amazing Gabriella von Berg. She's going to be doing a mini triple chocolate mousse cake. Say that 3 times without stumbling.
No, you can't. No.
Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit
you.
more about this dish and the inspiration behind it.
Well, we're obviously using the Villiers chocolate, so it is absolutely divine. Actually, when I took my first bite the other day, I literally went, yes, so we're using obviously the best quality, and we're doing 3 different layers: a dark chocolate, a salted caramel, and then a raspberry vanilla almond one. Very decadent dessert, but absolutely delicious.
So besides the amazing De Villiers chocolate, what else goes into this recipe?
We've got eggs, sugar, oil, vanilla essence, milk, flour, and baking powder.
So essentially a normal vanilla
Very normal,
cake.
no, nothing fancy about it. I mean, we're trying to focus on the lovely De Villiers chocolate, so obviously we don't want to overshadow it with a complicated base.
Okay, and then we've got, by the looks of it, 3 different kinds of chocolate.
Yes, that's correct.
What do we have?
We've got a dark chocolate, a salted caramel one, and then a raspberry, vanilla, and almond chocolate.
Why do we choose the different chocolates? Like, I wouldn't imagine putting in a dark chocolate, for example.
You get different flavors from each. The dark chocolate is very rich and almost bitter. And then the salted sea caramel one is just, it adds that saltiness. And then the raspberry, obviously the raspberry with a little bit of crunch with the almond.
Okay, so let's get started because I'm very interested to eat the chocolate.
No, let's get there.
All right.
So we're starting with eggs first. And then we'll add the sugar, and then we're going to beat that until it is pale and fluffy. And then you know it's ready if you can make an 8 like that and it almost stays.
Oh, cool. That's
Yes.
a clever thing to remember.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
Okay, next we're adding the oil and the vanilla and that milk over there.
We're obviously using full cream milk because,
Of course,
I mean,
yes.
if we're going to put like 3 chocolates in it, why not
Yes,
put
no,
in
it
full
would be
cream
ridiculous
milk?
not to. And then you can add the flour as well.
Are we going little by little? Or
No, we
going...
can put all of it one shot. And I forgot I need these again, so let's just that. So you can throw everything, and it's a very that works as well. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a mix first. There we go. You also don't want to overbeat it because otherwise you're going to start getting the gluten to work, and then it's going to become almost like a bread texture, which you don't want.
You still kind of want it a little bit liquidy.
Yes, yeah, of course. Okay, so now I'm just making sure I've got everything mixed through, and there we go, that's done. Now I'm going to put it in my prepared cake tin, so 23 centimeter round cake tin, which I have greased and then put wax paper on top. It just makes it easier at the end to take it out.
Okay.
Much easier. Everything in. And this also cooks very quickly. Very quickly. And because all we're wanting is that base for the mousse cake.
Okay.
So there we go.
This is like the quickest I've ever made a cake. It's like 10 seconds, tip, 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 and we're done.
Easy, yeah. Now we put it in the oven.
And nothing complicated. I mean, we're talking 180 degrees, normal
Yes.
oven settings.
Very simple, very basic. Now we get to the fun part, the chocolate.
So of course, when Gabriella would come to your kitchen at home, she's gonna do this for you fresh in your oven. She's gonna, as she's doing now, clean up her afterwards, make sure the kitchen is spotless, and she'll have a great dessert prepared for you. She comes with a 3-course meal, a 4-course meal, 5-course meal,
Whatever.
wine pairing, the works. All you have to do is go to chefandguests.co.za and book her for your luxury evening at home. Right, what's next?
Yes, now we are starting with the chocolate, the fun part, like I was saying. Here we've got dark chocolate, 100 grams. And now we're just going to chop it finely because we would like to melt it. It's just a lot easier to melt if you have it finely chopped, and it's just more, consistent.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, exactly.
before you cut my fingers off.
Which we will do.
Now, obviously, the fancy way of doing this would be in a double boiler, on the stove, over a low heat. But we're not worried about the complications here. We're going to do it simply.
It really is.
How are we going to do this?
Okay, we're going to put this in this bowl, and we're going to melt the chocolate on a very low heat in the microwave. It's much easier, like Kriya was saying, to do it in the microwave as opposed to over bain-marie on the stove. It's not necessary. You just have to keep an eye on it. That's the only thing, because it can go south very quickly if you're not paying attention.
And you don't want to cry over spilled chocolate now, do you?
No, especially not this chocolate, no.
So we're going through this process. What exactly are we creating, and what are the steps to doing it?
Okay, so yeah, we've got the cake base. It's going to go underneath, and now we're making the first layer of the cake, which then will follow with the next layer after we've made that mousse, and then we'll top it with the last one.
So what are we putting in here?
First, we are going to melt this. Okay, so we're going to leave that for about 50 seconds, but like I said, definitely keep an eye on it because it can seize very quickly, and then it's basically you can't do anything with it. And we don't want to do that with this chocolate. No.
All right, so what's next?
Okay, so now we're going to add a teaspoon of gelatin powder.
And that's normal gelatin powder that you can get at your Monument Park Super Spa.
That is correct. Indeed, you can. And then we are just going to add 15 mils of water to that.
Cold water, interesting, because normally I would imagine that you'd go with hot water for gelatine.
You can do hot water to dissolve it if it's going straight into the dessert, but we're still going to melt it with some cream, so you don't have to worry about that now.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to leave that aside so that it can do its thing, and now I'm just going to check on the chocolate.
So you can already smell the aromas of this chocolate, and the really nice thing about De Villiers is it's made in Paarl in the Western Cape. It's sustainably sourced from Uganda, and you can get it straight from their website, made in South Africa. I mean, support local, right?
Yes, indeed. Okay, so now we're going to add 30 mils of cream. We're essentially going to use 250 for the entire recipe. So what I'm going to do is pour a whole cup now.
So a full cup essentially is what you're looking for.
For the entire recipe, but we need 30 for now. So I'm just doing it the easy way, really putting 250, so I don't have to worry about measuring 250 minus 30. Okay. Maths wasn't my strong suit at school, so let's just skip that and make sure we miss that completely. Then we're going to add 30 mils of cream, and then we're going to add our sugar, and then also this will go in the microwave just to heat. It'll only probably take about 20 seconds. The cream obviously heats very quickly, so you have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, this one you definitely don't want to overboil because then you're going to spend more time cleaning your microwave than you are making your cake. Make sure that you go check out chefandguests.co.za. You can book Gabriella. She can come and do a full 5-course dinner for you and your friends at your house in the comfort of your own space and the safety of your own space. And that's the really nice thing about Chef and Guests. They come with all the ingredients, they clean up afterwards, and you get to have an amazing meal.
Yes. Okay, so now we're just going to give it a little mix. And this is how the gelatin is now dissolving in the cream, yes. Then after that, we just add it to the chocolate. And give it a little mix. Looks good, eh?
It looks really good.
So indulgent. And now we are going to whip some cream, the remainder of the cream, which we are then going to fold into that.
Okay.
And then that's also basically it.
Essentially makes up the full recipe.
Yeah.
What are we looking for here?
We are going to whisk it until it's stiff peak. I'll show you what it looks like. It can take a while. I would definitely suggest doing this with the electric whisk. Don't do this by hand. At chef school first year we were forced to do it by hand first, which I appreciate now in hindsight because we were obviously taught, and we appreciate actually the way you do things now, and yeah, it was fun times, but this is definitely, I would suggest using a whisker. Okay, so this is the texture you're looking for, stiff peak. And now we are going to fold this into the mousse. I'm just going to do it this way.
Oh, if only you could smell the aromas that are coming out of this chocolate.
It's so rich. It's so yummy. So you first add about 1/4 of your cream into this mixture, just so it can become a little bit more liquid, and then it'll be easier to fold in the rest of the chocolate. So when you fold in the chocolate, you're not supposed to be doing what I'm doing. I'm just doing this now to get the the cream in. And now, with this remaining cream, we will fold it in gently, so we get a nice fluffy textured mousse. And this can take some patience, but we would really like to keep the air in there. Really just want that soft, velvety texture.
Now I know where I make my mistake every time, because I don't fold it as gently as that.
It takes a little bit of patience to incorporate everything, but I mean, essentially, this is, an ultimate characteristic of a mousse is to be light and fluffy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So then, would you let this set afterwards, or would this go straight into your layering?
This will go straight into the layering because it will set in the molds. If you leave it to set now, you won't be able to, pour it out and let it set into a mold.
Cool.
Yes.
So now you would do this exact same method for the other 2 chocolates.
Yes, that's correct. Exact same method. It's very easy, as you saw as well.
Yeah.
Very.
So when you're doing your chocolate, make sure that you have your measurements right. You'll see the recipe just below, and then you do the same method for all 3 chocolates, and then you can start with the cake.
Yes, correct.
So are we done with the mousse now, or does it have to go into the fridge to set?
No, we're first going to put it in the mold. We are using these molds. You can essentially use any mold. It doesn't matter. I mean, any shape, any size. And also, I mean, if you want more dark chocolate as opposed to one of the other flavors or whatever, you customize it and you change it to how you would like.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, of course, if it already goes in the fridge, it won't be runny enough to put into the mold.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, now that our mousses are done, what's next?
The cake.
Okay.
So we've got a cake in the oven. I've already got pre-cut pieces in the fridge. If you'd like to maybe get that for me, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you. I just like having a board to do this on, and then it just goes into the fridge very easily. Or also, if you want it to set faster, you can put it in the freezer.
Clever.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so now we're going to start with these little cake bases that we're going to put in here. Thank you, Kriya.
Pleasure.
There we go. So now we've got the cake bases at the bottom. And now we are going to spoon, thank you.
I read your mind. I read your mind.
I'm going to spoon some mousse mixture in. You can judge for yourself by looking at the mold how thick you want the layers. And also, like I was saying earlier, if you really like dark chocolate, then make that half of your mold, and then you can use the others as you wish.
Okay. So you can kind of give it a different flavor here and there.
Yes, exactly.
If you want it sweeter or...
Exactly. You can really customize it as you'd like it to be tasted. Play with the recipe, and if you prefer the dark chocolate, make more dark chocolate. If you prefer the raspberry and vanilla, go for it. But also there's so many different flavors with the Villiers, so you really can play with it. Yes, you can play for days and days. And then we're just going to smooth it at the top a little bit, just to prepare it for the next layer that's going to go on top.
Do we need to put this in the fridge now so it sets every layer?
No.
Or can we just layer?
No, we don't have to wait until it sets. The gelatin for this recipe is strong enough so that we can go straight to the next. Yes.
So what goes in next?
Okay, the next one is the salted caramel layer. So these 2 layers that I've just put in are my favorite layers. So I'm putting more of those in, and then the white chocolate, the raspberry one, last.
Okay. I love how you're just like spooning in more as you go along. And then final one. I'll get you a spoon.
Thank you. I'm going to smooth this. Thank you. Just before put the next layer on. It's not really necessary. I think I'm just being
pedantic.
Pedantic. That's definitely the word. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the next layer. This is the vanilla raspberry almond one. So I'm only adding a little bit of this one because I like the fruit, the raspberry at the top, but I prefer the dark chocolate and the caramel is my favorite. So like I was saying, you can really customize this as you'd like. It's really up to you. So then just to do that, we just take a knife and run it over just to make sure it's nice and level. It will be a little bit messy, but that doesn't matter. There we go. And then you can just wipe the molds on the sides. Also not completely necessary, but I am a little bit pedantic. Okay, there we go. So those are the 3 layers. And yeah, so they can go into the fridge to set before your guests arrive. If you don't have a lot of time and your guests are arriving very shortly, it can go into the fridge. It will actually set probably like in half an hour, max an hour.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, let me get this into the fridge, and whilst
Awesome.
I'm there, I'm guessing you made us ones already.
Yes,
Okay.
I did. You are
I'll
so
get
clever.
those.
Thank you so much, Priya.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. All nice and ready. Now let's get a plate ready for our plating. Thanks, Priya. There we
This is
go.
what I'm here for.
Yes.
Who needs to pay a sous chef when you have me?
No one, and you're a lot more fun. Must be honest. Okay, so now we're going to start plating it. First, before I remove this from the mold, I just want to get my plating right. Oh, my word. Such a perfectionist. This doesn't help. I could sit here the whole day trying to get this straight. Anyway, there we go. And then what we are going to do is get a creme brulee gun and just go around the sides, just so that the mousse melts slightly so it will release from the mold. But obviously you don't want to do it too much because otherwise you're going to melt the
Mousse completely.
Yes, yeah. So then we
Hey!
there we go. So maybe it's a bit melted too much on the sides, but that's okay. So now we're just going to lift it up carefully.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. Okay, great. So now we've done our coulis. Now let's do some other garnishes. You can pass the popcorn to me, please, Priya.
Sure.
This just adds a little bit of crunch and a little bit of extra flavor, and obviously now more of the Villiers chocolate, which is the coconut blonde.
Ooh.
So we've got some coconut in there now.
It's really a layering, see what I did there, of flavors.
Yes, and textures.
Okay.
Pass the raspberries to you.
Raspberries. I'm going to try this popcorn whilst we are here.
I would as well.
Oh, wow.
That's good, eh?
Yes. That is ridiculously good.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. There we go. And then some pistachios. You read my mind. You read my mind. Gonna give it a little sprinkle for more texture and more flavor, just layering those flavors, but also not overdoing it because obviously we don't want to take away from the chocolate. And then we can add some basil leaves.
Just for a little pop of color.
Yes, and it also just adds like almost like a, well, obviously like a herby kind of flavor. It also
you
is
can
just
already
nice.
get the aromas
Yes,
of it. It breaks
yes.
up the sweetness just from the smell.
Exactly. And that's also why I've added the raspberries, also fresh, because it's quite tart. So with the sweetness, it just balances that out. And then just to finish off with, just some edible flowers because they're so pretty. Here we go.
Very nice.
And then, okay, I'll only do one more. Okay, now hold on. One last
more,
one.
one
One
more.
last one. Just because this is so pretty. There we go.
So remember that you can win yourself some amazing De Villiers chocolates as well. I mean, we've got such an array of stunning chocolates. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as like the video, and then drop us a comment. Maybe if there's something interesting that you figured out from the recipe, then let us know, and we are giving you 24 of these slabs. So get entering. I think it's time for me to try this.
I think so.
I don't know where to start. Do I start? Let's go straight
Yeah,
in.
just go straight in.
All right.
Just go for
Oh,
it.
it's so soft.
See, those are the gentle folding of the cream. It's good, right?
Oh, that's great.
Very indulgent, but
And you can actually taste the raspberry in the chocolate.
Yes, It makes a nice topping. I enjoy that. And then obviously with the fresh berries as well, it just, I don't know, it works for me.
I brought you a spoon in case you wanted.
Let me have a taste with you.
So I think I'm done. You need to find the recipe. It's at the bottom of the video. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go. No, shame. Remember that you can enter the competition to win yourself 24 slabs of chocolate, the Villiers chocolate. All you have to do is subscribe, like, and comment below. And then make sure you go to chefandguests.co.za and book Gabriella to come out to your next dinner party. This is so good.